We're doing some broadhead testing for accuracy on this Magnus Stinger buzz cut, and just thought, I needed to share something with maybe some new guys or even some old guys that's looking to change. Is that, and I think I've covered this in the past, and I've had some people comment, or somebody shooting a new sight say, what do you do and how do you do this and why? So I thought, well, let me just take a minute and kind of explain my thought process. Not saying it's right or wrong. It works for me. It works for my particular setup with my bow, with my speed, arrow setup, you name it. Which I think I'm shooting like 285, the 454 grain arrow. So I'm about run of the mill. I'm sure there's some faster bows, and there's obviously some people that shoot a little bit slower, but if you learn what your equipment can do, you'll be more successful. So I set my sight at 27 yards. I hunt there most of the time. I have logged in my average shot over 30 plus years of bow hunting, and know what they are. And realistically, they're not over 35 yards. They're not 40. They're not 45. Now, I'm hunting whitetail and I'm hunting in the woods, so you got to keep that in mind. So if I was hunting on a side of a food plot or something like that, where my yardage may be further, then my average shot might have been further. But for me, hunting in the woods, hunting the way I hunt, my average shot is less than 30 yards. So a lot of people still hunt with fixed pin sights. Nothing wrong with it. Hunted with it forever. Killed a lot of deer with it. I have since went to a single pin over, I don't know, the last 10 years or so. My eyes getting a little bad, a lot of blurriness, which you can use verifiers and clarifiers to clear that up, but I don't want to in a hunting setup. But with a single pin, it lets you focus on one pin. So again, I set it 27 yards, so I want a dead center shot, okay? Say on this dot right here, 27 yards. And I'll show you some pictures just to kind of verify what I was talking about. But 27 yards, and then if I step up to 20 yards, so if I'm sitting in my stand, in my saddle, and a buck comes running in chasing a doe, and I know my perimeters, okay? I know where 20 yards is. I know where say my 35 yard max is, okay, around all the way around me. So I know if a deer's within this certain zone, I don't have to worry about my pin. I know what it's going to do at certain yards, and I'm okay with the small amount of variance. So if I set it 27 yards and I aim at the middle, I hit the middle at 27 yards. If I keep it set at 27 yards and the deer runs in at 20 yards, I'm hitting right here at this dot. I don't know that you can see that, but that's literally 3 inches from the center of this dot to the center of this dot. Now, a lot of people hunt with a plate. They think if I can hit that plate at whatever yards, I'm good to go. And that's fine. I mean, obviously the size of lungs on a deer is the size of that plate over there. But if you want to be more accurate, that's where that is. So my sight set at 27 yards, I'm going to hit right here. It's just going to come high. It's not going to hit left and right. It's just up a little bit, okay? Which is obviously still an extremely lethal shot. So on this particular bow and this setup, my effective range for a 3-inch drop is 32 yards. So if I'm still set at 27 and he's within the 32 yard area, okay, I'm only hitting at this dot, which is literally a 3-inch drop from there to there. Now, if you're aiming this low to the bottom of a deer and 3 inches is going to cause you to miss, you aiming too low to start off with. Now, we all know about the deer dropping, so technically, if you want to add that in, I'm set at 27 yards on my bow, on my sight, and this deer drops 3 inches, which we all know they can drop up to 9 or 12 inches, really that comes to a perfect shot. So I've tried to explain that to some guys that have changed over from fixed pins over to the single pin sight. Right now I'm running the HHA Tetra Max, phenomenal sight, built like a tank, easy to adjust on the side. It's got the little magnifying glass, but again, I'm not up in my stand adjusting my pin. A lot of people think, oh well, if it runs into 20 I got to adjust. No, you don't. Just you got to know what your equipment can do and what you should do. Now, if say I am hunting out in some open woods and I do have a 40-yard shot, obviously at 40 yards I'm going to make sure, you know, the deer's not just running around. I need that to be a somewhat of a calm deer, or a focused on something else, maybe a focused on a doe or something else, maybe eating acorns or whatever, to make that shot. Because I'm telling you, for those of you that have not done this long, I don't care how fast your bow is, at 40 yards that deer can drop and spin before your arrow gets there. I've witnessed it, but you know, then again, if he's focused on something else and you know you're not making a lot of noise, you can pull that shot off. Very lethal shot. You know, people shoot deer at 50, 55 yards. There's nothing wrong with it. I know what my effective range is, and that's what I'm going to stick to. But this really wasn't about that. It was about you knowing about the 27-yard thing. It's something for you to consider. So if you got any questions, send me a DM, and you just got to get out and do this. You got to get out, measure, and see what your bow is going to do and figure that out. So good luck this season, and hopefully I'll see you in the woods.